The regular meeting of the City of Aransas Pass City Council, July 15, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. Let's all, well,
we're going to determine a quorum. Carrie Scruggs.
Here.
Jason Knight.
here.
Joe Dominguez.
Here.
J.R. Haskins.
Here. Okay, now let's all rise for the invocation. David.
Gracious God, our Father, we come today first to say thank you for another day. Thank you for our lives. Thank you for our health, our strength. That we're still clothed in our right mind, have the activity of our limbs. We pray for your choices, blessings to be upon this meeting. Pray that you will intervene on all behalves and that you will stand, oh God, and to have your way in this session. For we're leaning and depending on you. We thank you for your goodness, your mercy, your forgiveness. We thank you for your love. Continue to bless us and keep us and do more for us than we can ask. For we ask these favors in your Son, Jesus' name, and for his sake we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I'll pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And then we're going to do the Texas flag, which is honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, and one state, under God, one and indivisible. Anyway, I'll get it right. Okay, now we're going to go to announcements. And we're going to go to recognition for public safety, public works, finance, IT, and administration departments for their exceptional work during Hurricane Beryl.
And that's pretty much it. Just want to verbally recognize mayor and council. Those departments, they were very well organized under the police department, under the emergency office that deals with emergencies such as that, and under Mr. Jones. So just want to bring that to the public's attention. We were ready for any storm that came. Fortunately, thank goodness, it did not. But we were ready in case, thanks to the well-organized plan that's been set up since, I guess, before Harvard and after. So that's all.
Well, thank you. Thank everybody for all of those efforts and everything y'all did. Okay, now we're going to go to proclamation designating August 6, 2024 as Alyssa Roberson Remembrance Day. She's going to read it.
City of Aransas Pass has a proclamation. I'll read in part. Whereas President Ronald Reagan proclaimed May 25th, 1983 as National Missing Children's Day, saying our children are the nation's most valuable and most vulnerable asset. They are our link to the future, our hope for a better life. Their protection and safety must be one of our highest priorities. And whereas Blanca Alyssa Roberson disappeared on August 6, 1989 from Aransas Pass, Texas, and has never been found. And whereas the City of Aransas Pass is committed to protecting the health, safety, and welfare of the residents of the city, regardless of their age. Now, therefore, I, Romero Gomez, Mayor of the City of Aransas Pass, Texas, do hereby proclaim August 6, 2024 as Alyssa Roberson Remembrance Day. I urge officials, residents, and visitors to Aransas Pass to let this memorial of Alyssa Roberson remind them of President Ronald Reagan's instruction for every American family to take the proper precautions to protect their children.
Now we're going to go to city manager's announcements.
Mr. Mayor and Council, if I could go to number 2 first, because I need to spend a little time on the City Council workshop issue that relates to the budget. But first, going to number 2, the Texas Commission on Fire Protection 2024 inspection compliance letter. I think, Mr. Mayor, you got a copy of that letter. I'm going to ask the assistant, I guess it's assistant fire chief now. Interim fire chief, talk about what that letter means and the good news from that.
Mayor, Council, how y'all doing? So TCFP comes out once a year to do a compliance inspection report, and all this is ensuring the safety of our firefighters. They're inspecting our protective gear, our equipment we use, and make sure we have the adequate training hours we need for the year. And happy to announce we had no violations this year.
Very good.
Good job.
Good job, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, if I may, with your permission, Mayor and Council, go to the council workshop scheduled for August 7th. Also, this is tied to the workshop on July 29th. July 29th will be a discussion of the budget. There'll be some discussion of the budget also, where we are at this point, the status of the budget, the preview. That'll occur on August 7th also. We have some information that we want to pass out to you being put together, has been put together by our fine finance department. And I want to talk about it for just a little bit and let you know where we are with the budget. It appears as though that we are in quite a unique situation, and I want to talk about that in just a little detail. We can't go into a lot of detail, but some. The details are in that the booklet that's been passed out to you. That's those are the expenditures only with an estimate of revenue. Revenue won't be known until July 25th or thereabouts, July 25th.
Yes.
Then we can make some comparisons on how the expenditures match up to the revenue. Right now, as I indicated, what you have before you, what you can take with you and study it, are the expenditures that we've received. We have not taken anything out intentionally so that you can see where those expenditures are. The problem is, and I've never encountered this, I've been here going on 7 years now, and I've never encountered this. Each year, the gap is between $1.5 million from what we anticipate the revenue will be, and or if it's after the 25th, what it is, and what the expenditures are. The expenditures, in other words, exceed by $1 million, $1.5 million, thereabouts. That's not the case this year. The expenditures, which we have to address, but the expenditures will be exceeding right at $10 million. That's before any pay increase. So you can see there's a lot of work to be done. The purpose in this brief overview and what we'll be talking about at the work sessions I just referred to will be, and at those work sessions, we'll be going into more detail once the revenue is known. And then we'll know that on the 29th. We'll know that on the August 7th work session also. I don't know, a lot of requests are being made, unlike years past where we were in a much more manageable position. This is going to be tough, I don't mind telling you, but it's got to be done. We only have so much money, only so much that can be done. What we've done in the past to address if there are things that you think are necessary, you the council, you the mayor and council, that we really have to do, that may make it a more challenging budget, but necessary, is we have gone out for a tax note. I know there's a lot of discussion on that, rightfully so, but that may be a way to address some things that you may want that may not be affordable at this time. But the bulk of that $10 million, those are requests from department heads. And that's where the vast majority of that figure comes from. The largest I've ever seen since I've been here. In other words, and that's a good sign too, the department heads want to do different things to move the city forward, but it does cost money. But that's where it is at this point. Sandra, how would you add to that?
I'm just going to explain to you really quickly the document I just passed. The very first page is just a summary of the funds and where they are revenue versus expenditures, and if there's a deficit or a surplus per each fund. Then you'll start with the funds. They start on page 2 and they go all the way to page 15. Starting on page 16 is the capital outlay by fund as well. So the first one is going to be your general fund. We have capital outlay request of $3.7 million, water and sewer fund $4.7 million, and the aquatic center at almost $40,000. So this is just a very rough version of the budget. Don't get freaked out. This is
Sandra?
very, very rough. Yes, sir.
What is the payment on the, how much is the payment on the Aquatic Center and the Civic Center?
The Aquatic Center is paid for. The Civic Center, the MDD has not submitted their budget, so I don't have their, let me get my phone. Let me, hold on.
Okay, you said the Aquatic Center's paid for?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me tell you how much the debt service for the MDD is going to be for the Civic Center for next year. Hold on, give me a minute. We're going to be in 25. For the Civic Center, let me make sure this is the correct line. Yeah, the debt service payment that the MDD has is not just the Civic Center. The MDD also issued a note for the concession stand that they did. So that's going to be their debt payment for next year. It's going to be $714,831.25.
Can you slow down a little?
Oh, yes. $714,831 with 25 cents.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I think the Civic Center is still on track to be paid off around 27, isn't it?
The MDD, yes, sir. MDD will be done paying for everything in 2028. The Civic Center would have been in 27, but they took out that other tax note that they have one last payment for the tax note on 28.
Okay, thanks,
Yes,
Sandra.
sir. Yes.
So that's all that we have at this point, unless you have questions, because this is going to be coming back to you. But this gives you an idea of where we are at this point. When you get time, hope you have the opportunity to look over the information that's been produced.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we're going to go to citizen communications. At this time, the public is invited to address the city council and speak on any matter not specifically listed for public hearing elsewhere on the agenda. Please note that the city council members may not respond to comments or deliberate on topics if they are not included on this agenda. And first, we're going to go to Monica Lott.
Hello. I'm here for the second time. I was here a couple weeks ago, which I'm pretty sure y'all remember me. I requested to see if I could be placed on the agenda. Well, I had did it prior to that, and I got rejected. I called Friday again, and your city secretary told me that I've already been told no and hung up the phone. So I'm here because I would like to ask the council if you would allow me to be placed on the agenda so I can address the board of the complaint I have against the board of the Housing Authority. It had nothing to do with the complaint on the director because Texas Workforce Commission Civil Rights Division is handling that part. But since the mayor appoints the board members, I want to address that so I can show y'all the neglect of their duties that have been done. And it's not just me, I have witnesses that are willing to come forward, so I'm just asking if y'all would give me that opportunity to do it in closed session so I don't have to keep coming in front of the public asking for an opportunity. That's all I'm asking. I need one opportunity just to present to y'all what I have. And that's all I need. So that's all I'm asking. Last time I came and I figured I would get a phone call or something saying, hey, yes, you can, come and speak. I'm getting shut down on the phone by city secretaries hanging up the phone on me while I'm talking, which I think is very disrespectful. And I have to come over here again and ask because I'm getting shut down on this end.
So how do we address this?
I'm sorry?
So how do we address this?
Ms.
in
Scruggs,
mind,
Ms. Scruggs, it's
Mayor-
not appropriate for us to interact at this point with members who are speaking at the dais. Once we complete citizen communication, if you have a specific factual question, you can ask it at that time.
Okay.
All right? And by the way, I would appreciate you asking that question because there is a detail I'd like to fill in with regards to this.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you. I just don't want to do it during the middle.
Okay. All right, so you will be addressed at the end of the citizen comments.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, now we're going to go to Anita Hernandez.
Hello. I'm a former employee of the Aransas Pass Housing Authority, and I have over 20 years' experience as a Section 8 manager. I was serving as an operations Section 8 and property manager for the Aransas Pass Housing Authority a year ago. I have a lot of experience in that area. I was a Section 8 manager in the past 20 years, property manager, compliance officer, inspections operations manager. I have owned my own business for 20 years, a code enforcement officer, and a building inspector. And in all the places that I've worked, it's always been, very professional. And when I came to work at the Aransas Pass Housing Authority, it was the most horrific, hostile environment in my entire life. I went to work, I went to work every day, and after work, I go home crying every day, and I've never in my life experienced such a horrific experience. So what I did, working with her, with the director of the Housing Authority, and what I had to endure, aside from being in a hostile environment where she treated everybody, cussed every day, yelled at everybody horribly, all the tenants and the vendors. And I have proof of all that. The director continued to violate HUD policies, rules, regulations, discrimination. When I first got there, her idea was, we don't help Mexicans. And I told her, we do. And what we were talking about was illegal immigrants, which we do. But we don't help them monetarily. HUD doesn't help them monetarily. If there's 3 in the household, 2 are citizens, 1 isn't. Anyway, that's a whole story. These were all addressed in my complaints. She treated the tenants horribly. She sued a lady who had cancer, was there only for 2 months, and when she passed away, she found out she was going to come into some money. So she sued her for over $4,000. The deposit's only $400. This is unheard of. I have 4 pages of complaints that I have submitted. I talked to the chairman of the board, who's appointed by the mayor, and he said, put it all in writing. I don't want to hear nothing. Just put it in writing, which I did. And he never responded to this day, a year later, never responded. During that time, I went to the mayor, sent him the same 4 pages of allegations and everything. Never got an email back, phone call. 10 times I called, 4 times I sent an email. Never got a response to this day. So I had to go to Office of Internal Management and OIG and HUD Regional, and they're doing their investigation. And so you can rest assured that, all of the allegations and everything, I don't even want to get into it because I don't got the time. But anyway, you all have it in writing. I've given it to you several times. My concern is that the mayor appoints the chairman of the board, and I would appreciate it if somebody would be, she would be accountable to somebody so that they can look into all of these allegations. And, because I feel bad for the employees that are there now, for the past year, all these 10 employees that got fired. I had never gotten a write-up or anything like that. And the day that she fired me, it was only because I said, well, I'm going to go to the board. 5 minutes later, she comes in and says, get out of here. You're fired. And I'm like, what? She goes, for what? You're an at-will employee. Doesn't matter. You need to get out of here now. So I just walked out, took my purse, walked out, and she goes, and I go, well, we'll see what happens. She goes, oh, you're not the first, and you're not going to be the last, and, and laughing. And the environment is just horrible. I've never been fired like that, and I just want to make sure that, you're aware of it. And like I said, all the allegations, please read the review that they're coming in this week. I think they came last year after my complaints. They've been coming like every 3 months and addressing them. But have y'all seen the reports? Because that's all you got to do. And I just want to make sure that you guys are looking into it, look at the reports, and read them. And somebody needs to be accountable. Who's her boss? Think about it. Because I know it's the chairman of the board, and he's at that hotel here in town. Patel, I'm not certain, but anyway, he's the chairman of the board, appointed by the mayor. And he don't do nothing, so maybe we need to appoint a different chairman of the board or somebody to help the people that are working there right now. Because I don't care about the job. I mean, I'm out. I've been out for a year. But I have communications with all these employees, and the complaints are just horrific. But I'm not talking about the allegations with HUD. Just talk about her character. And have somebody look into what's going on, because 10 people can't get fired all in the same way, thrown out like nobody's. Anyway, like I said, I hope you guys, recover that email, and if you want it, I can give it to you. And I have, a lot of information that I would like to share along with Monica. If you guys give her that meeting, I'd be willing to give you all a copy of the 4 pages and see what you're looking for, and maybe, or like I said, just oversee that, please, for the sake of the people that work there now, because I could be here and tell you stories that are horrific, but you guys can look into it yourself, and I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, now we're gonna go to Jason Falwell.
Jason. Well, I didn't give my name because you don't have to sign in. You don't have to identify yourself. We're not criminals. What they're doing to you is a policy. It's not a law. You should know that, and you can look it up if you want. Baines versus City. It's a First Amendment right. Anyway, my advice to you, Mr. Attorney, is to look into that and get that off of there, because we can come up here and talk without having to identify. There's no reprisal. Same thing Kerry did to everybody when they were doing the annexation. She used that list to harass people, so we don't have to do that. I do like how you got rid of the illegal decorum you had up there. We're allowed to address these people and call them pieces of shit, whatever we want, so thank you for that. They are also allowed to talk back to us. It's a First Amendment right. No matter what policy you try to throw at them, y'all can talk to us too. Now, Aaron Jones falsified a government document about an investigation. The investigation was over Officer Valdez regarding Herman, the homeless man that APPD right here beat inside his cell on 4/26/24. They actually tortured the man. It's on YouTube if you want to watch it. Officer Valdez had text message between him and Herman. Herman asked for help because he was beat by a bat the week before these guys beat him up. Valdez basically told him on text message just to leave town. Officer Aaron Jones found no foundings on that. Yeah, what a joke, right? It's on YouTube, the text messages, and Facebook. You're a fucking liar. Allegation. It's also the allegation that Mr. Herman was placed in restraints and beat. Well, he was placed in restraints. He was beat. Officer Jones found this unfounding. Well, y'all can watch it on YouTube. The body cam feed is on my YouTube showing Herman was placed in restraints. These restraints are designed for a person sitting up. That's the way they're designed, and they laid him on the ground. This can cause him to aspirate and die, but I guess they didn't care, right? The restraints were bounded around this guy's genitals, and he's screaming in pain as these pieces of shit beat him and found him not guilty. Come on. They tightened the strap several more times as he's screaming. It's around his junk. He's screaming for help, and they kept doing it. They also left his butt and his genitals hanging out as he was trapped for an hour. The female officer asked Mr. Jones if she should cover him up, and Mr. Jones said, and left him there with his butt and his dick hanging out. Y'all people are disgusting. Anyway, they left him there for an hour. They actually lacerated his left arm, which you can see on the video. There's no wounds prior. But after they beat him up, they left him in a pool of his own fucking blood. Again, Officer Jones said, no foundings, not guilty. Of course, they self-audit themselves, right? Mr. Gray has some mental issues. He asked for mental assistance several times, asked to go to a psych ward several times, and Mr. Jones said that was a lie. He said it 7 times on the fucking video. 7. And he asked for a mental ward 3. That's 10 times cry for help. And instead of helping the man that got beat with a bat, y'all beat the crap out of him again. Worthless motherfucker you are. Watch the YouTube channel, guys. I don't fucking lie. This guy lies. These 3 in the middle, lie. They're all pieces of shit and they're liars. Watch the video. Y'all raise hell about these motherfuckers. Because these 3 won't be here next year. Anyway, that's Texas Penal Code 3708. False report of a police officer. It's a Class B misdemeanor. The proof's on the internet. There's no investigation. They didn't do an investigation. You know why? Because they're lying pieces of shit. If I wasn't investigated, y'all wouldn't even know about it. Shameful. Oh, how do you and Kerry say? Disgusting. Pieces of shit.
Jason, I want to tell you something, and excuse me, I'm going to do this. I reviewed that video. For y'all that don't know me, I'm a 33-year police officer, retired police officer, and investigator. And I've done many cases like what he's talking about. And Jason, I reviewed that video. That police officers did not beat the man. They didn't do nothing to him. They tried to be respectful to him. I know, listen to me. You had your time. Now it's mine. Because this is getting out of hand, Jason. They asked him if he wanted them to pull their pants up, and he said no. They put him in that restraint deal because that's the way you do it when somebody is trying to hurt themselves. I don't know, listen to me, I do not know why they didn't take him to the hospital. They have their own reasons, and I haven't asked. But as for your videos, he was not beat on by the police officers, and he was No, I'm not, Jason.
I have the video. They left him
So do I.
for an hour.
So do I.
An hour. He was responsive, he was compliant, he wasn't a threat. They wrapped up his dick and slammed it.
Jason, do you know why they put him in the wrap? Because he was standing up on the toilet, gonna fall off of it.
Show me. He won't give me that video. He denied me that video. Show me.
That's what it is.
Show me. You can't, because he won't give it to you.
Will you give me that video, Chief?
I'll give you anything you want.
I'll get it.
They told me the video doesn't exist. Lying pieces of shit.
This is getting out of hand.
It's been out of hand.
Just point of
Been out of hand for 2
clarification.
years.
Just point of clarification, there was a very in-depth investigation. He never requested the documents that explain the gravity of that investigation. The other thing is he asked for all the body cam footage. He received all the body cam footage. There is other video that the council may be privileged to that is recorded in-house. We don't want to just publicly release it. So as part of privilege for council, I can share it. But to release it publicly, I would have to seek an AG opinion to do so because it gives away security details inside of our secure facility.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you, Mr. Haskins. Mayor, if I may, I'd like to use this as an educational opportunity. We have recently changed our agenda format. We've moved public comment to the beginning of our meetings rather than at the end of the meetings where it used to be. And we're trying to impose a procedure where citizens get their 3 minutes to speak. Council does not engage in dialogue back and forth. The way the Open Meetings Act is written, it allows council members to ask factual questions and to receive a factual response. And as I explained to you before when we set up this process, it's my preference that council members wait until after the citizens have concluded their remarks, and then now at this time, council members can ask a factual question and any staff member can respond to that in a factual way. By doing that, we're not breaking the Open Meetings Act. And that's my goal here, is to keep us between the ditches and keep us in line with what the Open Meetings Act requires. So, Ms. Scruggs, earlier I said, I hope that you will circle back to this and ask a factual question such as, can you explain how Texas law, what is the interaction between the city and the housing authority under Texas law? Because I'd be happy to explain that.
Please do.
Thank you. There's a lot of confusion about what the city's role is with the housing authority. There is in every city. That's not just true here in Aransas Pass. Under state law, Chapter 392 of the Health and Safety Code, it's the Local Government Code. The mayor is responsible for appointing the commissioners of the housing authority, and that is the extent of the city's authority. The city does not manage the housing authority. The city does not run the housing authority. The city has no authority whatsoever to respond to allegations about conduct or misconduct at the housing authority. There is an appointed board who is responsible for doing that. It's the Housing Authority Board. The only connection between the city and the Housing Authority Board is that the mayor appoints the members. That might prompt the next follow-up question, so I'll go ahead and answer it. Can the mayor remove a member off of the Housing Authority Board? It is possible to remove a member off of a Housing Authority Board, but only if the city can show, and I looked this up to make sure I would have this right, inefficiency, neglect of duty, or misconduct in office. Those are fairly high standards. And that's not misconduct of an employee of the Housing Authority. It's misconduct of the board member. So there's very, very limited opportunity for the city to do anything. We have not conducted, nor will we conduct, an investigation into whether these allegations are correct or not. That is not the city's job. The correct entity to do that is the Housing Authority Board, and I hope that these allegations will be raised there instead of here in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Thomas,
Yes, sir.
I know I was a little bit ahead of the game, but this is getting old.
Yes, sir, Mr.
All these
Haskins.
allegations against the police department that are not true, because I viewed the video. He was not beat. They were very professional. And these people that don't know out here, that don't know what happened, are going to go away with the opinion that the police department beat this guy up.
Yes,
And
sir.
that's something that we don't want, the negativity out here without them knowing the actual facts.
Yes, sir. And thank you for circling back to that. Mr. Haskins, you weren't out of line with regards to what the Open Meetings Act says. Council members are allowed to make factual statements. The procedure that I'm trying to put in place here
Yeah, I see.
is only to prevent the back and forth dialogue. We just witnessed it. This is what happens if a council member starts to engage directly with a member of the public at the podium, is it's going to turn into a back and forth, and in many cases that's going to degenerate into an argument. I'm trying to lift up the civility of the meeting by eliminating those.
So are we done with citizens' comment?
Yeah. Yes.
We can go on.
Number 7.
We can move on. We can go on to number 7.
Okay, we're going to go to staff reports and other discussion items, which is the mayor declaration of local disaster due to Hurricane Beryl proclaimed by Mayor Gomez in accordance with the Texas Government Code 418.108 for the period of July 5th, 2024 through July 12th, 2024. And now we're going to go to the consent agenda. No discussion as anticipated on any item on this section because they are routine business, were included in the budget adoption process, or have been previously discussed as a staff report or discussed item. These items will be considered collectively by a single vote unless a council member requests an item be removed from the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agendas for June 14th budget workshop, June 17th regular meeting, and approval of the third quarter fiscal year 2023 investment report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, now we're going to go to action items, which is approve the agreement for special waste disposal for animal control services between Animal Control and El Centro Landfill. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Captain Diaz recently promoted. That's one of her areas of responsibility. She's going to talk to you about this item.
So our animal control officers have been to more recent training, and new regulations require a special procedure and protocol to dispose of the Fatal Plus solution that they have to utilize periodically. This landfill is willing to meet all of the needs of the proper disposal for that solution. So we're asking for this contract so that we can have a more appropriate way to dispose of that Fatal Plus solution.
I make a motion to approve the agreement for special waste disposal for animal control services between Animal Control and El Centro Landfill.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And we're going to go to approve a contract with Weaver and Jacobs for construction manager at risk CMAR services in connection with the new fire station and police department renovation project.
Hi, I'm Jody Smith Shoddy with Turner Ramirez Architects. We're partnered with Martinez Architects out of Houston. I'm going to give you a brief summary on the RFP process while selecting the construction manager at risk. So as previously approved by the City Council, an RFP for construction manager at risk was issued and managed in accordance with Texas Government Code Chapter 2269. Scoring of those proposals were based on a 100-point scale, with points allocated per category as shown on the summary score sheet provided in your packets. and they were scored per the criteria established in the RFP. The fees were 50 points out of the 100 points possible. After the first round of scoring, Weaver and Jacobs and Century Construction scored the highest with 92 and 88 points respectively. These two highest ranked were selected by the city's committee for interview. We then interviewed both firms, and they were scored out of a 25-point score. Weaver and Jacobs remained the highest ranked respondent, and is the committee's recommendation and best value to council for award of the CMAR contract. There is a letter of recommendation and scoring tabulations provided in your packets for reference if you have any questions.
I guess, so I'm not confused, just to know what's the total price of this? Is there a total price? Is it paid quarterly, every 6 months? How's the pay coming out on this?
So the RFPs were based on a percentage of the construction cost, and that is not for the construction itself. This is a slightly different process, as it allows us to bring on a construction manager during the design process, and they will be providing estimates as we provide design deliverables to make sure you stay on budget and on schedule. Then once those construction documents are complete, then the contractor, that same CM at risk that you would be that we're recommending would be the contractor that would build the facilities, and then they would give you a total price at that time whenever those construction documents are complete.
Okay, makes sense.
So we're voting on a deal to allow y'all to do this, but we don't know what it's going to cost.
Well, you're voting on a construction manager at risk to join your design team that you've selected, so we can be a partner to the city, put together those numbers, and so that you know before you're even under construction how much the project's going to cost. Rather than going out on bid day and getting a surprise, you're going to know beforehand.
I understand.
I make a motion to approve a contract with Weaver and Jacobs for construction manager at risk services in connection with the new fire station and police department renovation project.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
I still vote no because this did not get on the ballot, was not voted on by the citizens.
No, this was not put on the ballot for the citizens to vote on, so therefore I can't vote yea on it.
Thank you.
It was 3-2.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, motion passed.
Motion passes.
Well, we know.
Now we're going to go to approve city staff to conduct contract negotiations with the True North Emergency Management and Debris Tech Monitoring Services for disaster debris removal monitoring services. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So as of right now, we don't have a monitoring company to monitor the debris that our debris collection company brings in. If you remember, right after Hurricane Harvey, we had the Shrimpery grounds, which we still are seeing the effects of it today, where they collected all of that. There's a monitoring company separate, or should be separate, to make sure they're keeping tabs so that we're being charged appropriately for the debris that's going in there. Going into Barrel, this had not been renewed yet. It was going through the process, but we had a contingency on hand, so it wasn't in effect. But we want to get everything in accordance to with how FEMA likes it. We went out for RFP, RFQ, whatever you call it. We received qualifications back, and as pointed out in the memo, we have 2 companies that we would like to enter into agreements with. 2 that responded. These are 2 of the 3, and we're familiar with, I believe, both of them. One is True North Emergency Management. The other is Debris Tech Monitoring Services. And we'll research them and see what their costs or whatever and contract's going to require, and then come back to you guys again with that information. This is just the next step in the formalization.
I move to approve city staff to conduct contract negotiations with True North Emergency Management and Debris Tech Monitoring Services for disaster debris removal monitoring services.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, now we're gonna go to executive session. Texas Government Code 551.087 to discuss or deliberate the offer to a financial or other incentive to a business prospect that the city council seeks to have, locate, stay, or expand in or near the territory of the city of Aransas Pass, and with which the city of Aransas Pass is conducting economic development negotiations. And then we're gonna go to Texas Government Code Section 551.074 to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, or to hear a complaint or charge against an officer or employee. City Secretary, yeah, and it is 6:11.
Okay, having heard from both applicants to the position of city secretary, I make a motion that we accept the application of Candace Garrett in the amount of $93,000 a year plus phone.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Motion
Oh, I'll
passes.
make, yes, motion passes. No other business, so I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All
Ma'am,
opposed?
thank you for coming in, though.
Yes.
Thank you.